J.C. Shrestha, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to be here with you again to talk to you about current developments in Sri Lanka. These surroundings are not unfamiliar to me. I have spoken in this room on many occasions in the past. And as I reflect on those occasions, I think the circumstances in Sri Lanka have evolved greatly over that period. J.C. Shrestha was telling me that her last visit to Sri Lanka was 5 years ago, to be exact. It was in July 2009. 1 month before the occurrence of a very tragic event, namely the assassination of the late Foreign Minister, Now, many things have happened during those 5 years, and I was suggesting to Ambassador Shrestha that it would be very appropriate for her to think of visiting our country once more, to assess for herself the importance of some of the things which have happened in Sri Lanka during the last 5 years. Now, if she and people on the hill. Now, one idea which I propose to US legislators and others who might be meeting is this. I believe genuinely that the circumstances are propitious for a certain strengthening and deepening of the relationship between Sri Lanka and the United States. Now, we are not in any way resentful of the focus on human rights. That is understandable. We are not complaining about it, but we are making the point that the relationship should not be one-dimensional. There are many other things that Sri Lanka and the United States can do together. In particular, as we open up the country, as we rebuild the infrastructure, I think there is a great deal of scope for American companies to come in and to participate fully in that exercise. One of the interesting things that I did in my previous capacity as Minister for International Trade was to visit New Delhi about a year and a half ago to address large American companies that were established in the Indian subcontinent, to try to persuade them to take a look at opportunities that are available in Sri Lanka. The acting head of mission of the United States in Delhi at that time was a friend of mine, Peter Burley, who was ambassador in Colombo for not a very long time, I think about a year and a half. He was in Delhi. This initiative was strongly supported by the American Chamber of Commerce, who, in association with our own High Commissioner in New Delhi, the present Secretary of the Ministry of External Affairs, arranged this interaction with American companies. The reception was very good. And what we thought basically was this: rather than come to Washington or Los Angeles or Houston and try to talk to American companies about opportunities in Sri Lanka, that may not have been an entirely practical exercise. Sri Lanka is very far, remote, distant. Why not go to Delhi and talk to companies who are very familiar with conditions of the subcontinent? We were not asking them to scale down their operations in India, but rather to take an interest in ancillary activities which may productively supplement what they were doing in India. Now I think, if it was appropriate then, I think there is much more scope for such an exercise at this lecture, or at this time. I also told some members of Congress and the Senate whom I met this morning that I think that the United States and Sri Lanka can work together to their mutual advantage in several other fields. For example, Sri Lanka last week took over the chairmanship of G15 in Tehran. President Rajapaksa took over the leadership of that organization from President Ahmadinejad of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Now, as you know, The G15 is a misnomer in a way because there are actually 17 countries, but of the 17 countries, 3 are among the 10 largest economies of the world, that is India, Brazil, and Mexico. So G15 is an organization to be taken seriously in many ways. It accounts for approximately 30%, actually a little more, 33% of the world's population, 25% of the world's crude oil resources. It accounts for 27% of the export trade in the developing world and 30% of the import trade.